Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school, children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today. So children, the lesson that we will do today is a lesson in English, and the name of the lesson is Past, Present and Future. Now it is a poem by Emily Bronte, and it is a lesson from your Standard 7th English textbook. So what are we going to do as part of this lesson today? We will be reading the poem once. We will be talking a little bit about the poetess of the poem, Emily Bronte. We will then try and understand the difficult words in the poem. We will solve a few exercises which are part of the poem, and finally we will look at certain figures of speech which are there in the poem for us. Okay, so it is going to be a beautiful, interesting lesson. I want you all to pay attention to what is being taught, and also at the same time you can pause the video and you can try to understand certain concepts. You can try to answer certain questions. Okay, and also I recommend that before you start learning this lesson or before you start watching this video, kindly pick up your English textbook and open your textbook and come to this particular poem, so that when I'm reading the poem you can do the reading simultaneously with me. You will also understand more if you have your textbook with you for reference. So come on, let's move on and let's see what the poem is about and who's the poetess, etc. So like I told you, Emily Bronte is the person who has written this poem, and if it is a man, he's called as a poet. Women are generally called as poetesses. Okay, so Emily Jane Bronte was an English novelist, and she was also a poetess who's best known for her only novel. Now we call her a novelist, but then she's written only one novel, and the name of the novel is Wuthering Heights. But this novel went on to become so famous that Emily Bronte got distinguished as a novelist. And she is an English novelist, means she was born in England. And this particular novel of hers, Wuthering Heights, is considered to be a classic of English literature. So whoever wants to learn English literature in future, that is when you pass your 10th standard, when you go to college, and if you want to learn English literature, you will have to learn about this particular novel of Emily Jane Bronte. So that was a quick or a little bit of information about our poetess for today. Let's move on and look at the poem and what is the main idea of the poem. So as you know, the name of the poem is Past, Present and Future. So in a way we are going to talk about our life, or this poem has got something to do with our lives. So the narrator of the poem appears to be speaking with a smiling child. When you read the poem, you get the idea or you get the feeling that the person who's narrating the poem is speaking to a smiling child. A smiling child here symbolizes a child who is quite happy with his life. You will also realize that in the poem Past, Present and Future, the poetess or the poet Emily Bronte is asking a child what the past, the present and the future looks like to him. And as you know, children are very innocent. So innocently the child describes the nature that he thinks is associated with each of these time frames. Time frames means there are certain things in nature which he thinks is connected to the past or which is similar to the past. There are certain things in nature which are similar to the present phase of his life, and there are certain phenomena which happen in nature which indicate towards the future of the life of this particular child. Okay, so this is the idea generally of the poem. That is, the poem tries to explain what life is and what is the meaning or what is the significance of the past, the present and the future in the perspective of a child, or according to the perspective of a child. Okay, so now as we read the poem, I will be marking the difficult words, okay, and also explaining the difficult words to you, and at the same time we will also try to see what the lines mean. So now this is an image directly picked up from your textbook. Okay, so the name of the lesson is Past, Present, Future, and it is the very first poem in Unit 1 in your textbook. So tell me, smiling child, what the past is like to thee. So the narrator or the poet is asking the smiling child. I told you in the beginning that when you say smiling child, it means it could indicate a child who is happy with his life. So the poet is asking the smiling child, what is the past like to thee? Thee means you. Okay, and to this the child replies, an autumn evening, soft and mild. So for the child, the past is like an autumn evening. So now what is autumn? Autumn is nothing but it is a season which comes just before the winter season. Okay, and in this season you will see that the leaves, they shed the trees, they shed their leaves. You can see this small image here which is showing how the trees are shedding their leaves in autumn. So the child says, the past to me is like the season, that is autumn, and here what is happening is the evening is very soft and mild, with a wind that sighs mournfully. Okay, so wind sighs mournfully. Now sighing means making a sound, and sighing mournfully means making a sad sound. So everything is not good about the past. Even though the child is smiling, there are some things that do make the child sad. Okay, so let me once again read the lines for you. Tell me, smiling child, what the past is like to thee. An autumn evening, soft and mild, with a wind that sighs mournfully. Let's go to the next line now. Tell me, what is the present hour? A green and flowery spray. Now, spray word is used over here, children. There are many different meanings to this word spray. Spray can be used as a verb where it is the action of spraying something. Spray can also be used as a noun. Okay, in this particular example, or in this particular line, spray here is a noun, which means it is a tree which bears flowers. So green and flowery tree. Instead of saying tree, the poetess has said spray. Where a young bird sits gathering its power to mount and fly away. So now you can see what is the present. Now the present is a beautiful flowering tree to the child. Okay, the past was autumn. Now after the leaves fell in autumn, the tree has started blooming, it has started flowering, and there is a young bird which is sitting on the tree, and it is gathering its power to mount and fly away. Here mount means to get ready or to climb, to fly away. Okay, so now that means in the present, now the child is preparing for its future life. The child is in a mood to learn new things. Okay, he is expecting something good to happen with him, and he is all ready to act now, to mount and to fly away. Let's look at the next stanza in our poem. And what is the future happy one? So again, the poet is asking the child, and what is the future? So the past is autumn, and the current or the present is when you're getting ready to fly. And what is the future happy one? A sea beneath a cloudless sun. So it is, the future is like a sea. Now when you're talking about the sea, what are the qualities of a sea? A mighty, glorious, dazzling sea. Okay, so what kind of sea is it? It is a mighty sea. Mighty means a very strong, a very powerful sea. It is also glorious. Glorious means it needs to be praised. It deserves a lot of praises. Okay, and it is also dazzling. What is the meaning of dazzling? Dazzling here means shining intensely or shining very strongly. Okay, I will not use the word intense here because I will not give you a difficult word to describe another difficult word. So dazzling means to shine very brightly or to shine very intensely, or you can also say to shine strongly. And stretching into infinity. Infinity here means endlessness. So how does the sea look to you? Most of you must have gone to a seashore, okay, or you must have simply gone to a place. If you're living in a city, you must have gone to a place like Gateway of India in Mumbai, or if you're living in a village and if you have a coast near you, you must have gone to a beach. And when you stand on the beach and you look at the sea, it looks like it is stretching into infinity. Infinity means it looks like the sea will not end anywhere. Okay, the further you go, the further far the sea will take you. The sea will not end anywhere. It looks like that. All right. So what has the poetess done here? The poetess has tried to find out the thoughts or tried to find out the idea which the child in the lesson has about life. So here life has been divided into three parts. That is, the poetess has tried to divide life into the past, into the present and into the future, and tried to find out what the child thinks about his life in the past, what he thinks about his life in the present, and what he has plans for, or what he wishes, or what he thinks his life in future will be. So this was a poem, children, for us. I tried to explain the poem well to you, and we also saw the meaning of the difficult words here. In case you have any doubt anywhere, you can always rewind the video and you can go back and you can watch it again. Okay, so since now we have done with the reading and the explanation of the poem, let's move on and go to some exercises in your textbook. So let us try to link the three main parts of this poem now with what they mean. So the first part of the poem is the past. Okay, so what is the past compared to, or what is the past supposed to signify here? So the past, according to the child, is a soft and mild autumn evening. So it is soft, it is mild also, it is autumn evening, and it is a pleasant time which has ended. Okay, the past, like we say, it has gone by, it will never come back again. Okay, it is that part of time which you will never get back again. So whatever time you have with you, you should try and use it to the best of your ability. So the child is saying that the past, he is describing the past as a soft and mild autumn evening, and it is a pleasant time also, but which has ended. What about the second phase in the poem? It's about the present hour, that is in the current times. So what are the current times like? It is like a green and flowery spray where a young bird sits. So it is a green, that is, it is full of life, and it is flowery also. There is a lot of flowers on it. It is very attractive, and spray, as I told you, means a tree on which a young bird is sitting. So the child is comparing himself or herself to a young bird. And what is the bird doing? The bird is ready to fly. That means it is a time, the present time, the time which you have in your hands is a time full of life in which you can gather strength in order to live a good life tomorrow or in the future. So whatever time you have with you in your hand should be utilized to the best of your ability so that your future becomes safe and your future becomes good and secure. Then the third part in your life is your future. That is what will happen to you tomorrow. So it is like a sea beneath a cloudless sky. So it is a sea, it is vast, okay, and it is a cloudless sky. That means it is under a clear sky. So whatever you want to do with your life, you can do. in case you work hard. And he also says that the future is an exciting, thrilling time which has no end. So the future is endless. So however much you work hard, that much of benefit you can reap in the future. So once you have understood this part of the exercise, it means you have understood the entire poem. Okay, so in this part of the exercise we have tried to understand the meaning or the summary of the poem, where the three parts in our life have been compared to different things in nature. The past is compared to a season, the present is compared to a tree, and then to a bird, and then the future is compared to the sea. Okay children, so this is a little bit of an exercise from your textbook. We have some more exercises in the textbook. Let us try and do one more now. So there is this exercise where you're supposed to write the adjectives which are used to describe the following. So what are the adjectives which are used to describe evening here? So the adjectives which are used to describe evening, now what will you do is, you will pause the video like I told you before, you will open your textbook, you will read the poem, and you will try and find out what words are used in order to describe the evening, and you will find the answers are soft and mild. Okay, and then you can start the video again and check whether your answers match with mine. So evening is described using words like soft and mild. So soft and mild are the adjectives which are used in order to describe evening. What about the next word that we have? Spray. So what are the words, or what are the adjectives used to describe spray? A spray, like I told you, means a tree. Okay, so the words which are used to describe the tree are green spray and flowery spray. Okay, so green as well as flowery. So you can see here, you can see the green parts of the leaf and the colorful parts of the flower, and you can see a spray. Alright, next word that we have with us is sea. So what are the adjectives which are used to describe sea? So you have mighty, you have a glorious, and you have a dazzling. Alright, so see, look at the sea. It is mighty. Look, it looks so strong, isn't it? And it looks praiseworthy, so it is glorious, and it is shining. Can you see the shine on the sea? That is why we call it dazzling. So all in all, if you look at this particular page, you will find around 7 adjectives on this page. Soft and mild are adjectives which are used to describe the evening. Green and flowery are adjectives which are used to describe this tree or the spray here. And mighty, glorious, and dazzling are the adjectives which are used to describe the sea. Okay children, so this was about adjectives. We all know that adjectives are words which are used in order to describe or to give more information about nouns. Alright, now we come to the last part of our lesson, where we will look at some figures of speech. Now whenever you learn poetry children, or whenever you try to understand, read a poem, you will see that there are figures of speech used in poems or in poetry. What is the meaning of figures of speech then? Figures of speech is nothing but it is a technique in order to make your poems more interesting, in order to make them more attractive for the reader. So there are various figures of speech that you will learn as you progress in your English learning. So there are some common ones, like you have simile, you have metaphor, you have personification, alliteration, onomatopoeia, hyperbole, and idiom. So these are all the various figures of speech. In Marathi, I think you call it alankarik bhasha. So decorative language. Alright. In this particular case, we are going to talk about 2 figures of speech. One is simile and the other one is metaphor. So what we will do is, we will see what is the meaning of simile. We will look at some examples, and then we will look at what is the meaning of metaphor, some examples, and then they have asked us to pick up 3 metaphors from our lesson. Okay, so come on, let's proceed and let's see what is the meaning of these particular figures of speech. So what is simile? Now remember, how do you say? You say simile. S-I-M-I-L-E. A simile is a comparison of two things. So what is simile basically? It is nothing but it is used for comparison of two things using the words like or as. So when you compare two things using the words like or as, then you're using the figure of speech simile. So look here at the example. As sweet as pie. So pie means a kind of a cake. So it is sweet, isn't it? Cakes are sweet. So as sweet as a pie. So you're comparing someone and you're saying that that person is as sweet as a pie. You can also use the word like when it is a simile. So colorful like crayons. So crayons, you know, you must have seen a box of wax crayons. They are of different beautiful colors, and we have used, all of us have used crayons when we were children in order to color. Okay, then when we grew up, we started using watercolor and poster colors. But when we were small kids, we used to make use of crayons for coloring. So colorful like crayons. So here like means it is an example of a simile. Let us look at some more examples of a simile. Busy as a bee. So bees are always buzzing around, collecting honey, isn't it? And storing it for their future. So you will never see a bee sitting and relaxing. Bees are always busy. So when you want to say that someone is very busy, you can always say that he's as busy as a bee. Sparkle like diamonds. Diamonds shine very bright. So when someone is shining brightly, or when something is shining brightly, you can say that it is sparkling like diamonds. Hungry as a bear. Okay, bears, they are huge animals. They have a huge appetite. They eat a lot. So that is why someone who eats a lot, we say, why are you behaving like a bear? That means he is as hungry as a bear. Flat as a pancake. So pancake, or like we say roti or dosas, they are very flat. So flat as a pancake. And hard as a rock. A rock means a big piece of stone, and you know how hard it is. Okay, you cannot break it easily. So these are all examples of similes. Alright, so simile means when you're comparing two things using the words as and like. See, look at some more examples. Strong as a bull, slow like a snail, as small as a mouse, as quick as lightning. So you're comparing someone's strength with that of a bull, and you're saying that someone is so slow that he's like a snail, and someone is so small that it is like a mouse. Okay, and someone is so quick that it is like lightning. So these are all examples of similes. Okay, let us move on and let us look at the next figure of speech, that is a metaphor. So what is a metaphor? Look at the example here. He was a walking encyclopedia. What is an encyclopedia? Encyclopedia is more than a dictionary. Okay, a dictionary will give you just the meaning of words. An encyclopedia is like an advanced dictionary which will give you the meaning of so many things in this world. Okay, it will give you description also of many things. So the comparison. So metaphor is also comparison. Simile was also a comparison, and metaphor is also a comparison. The comparison of two unlike things, two things which are totally different. So see, a man and an encyclopedia, they are so different. A man is a living thing, encyclopedia is a non-living thing, but even then we compared a man to an encyclopedia, so that is an example of a metaphor. And when metaphors are used, you use words like is, are, was, were, etc. Okay, so in a way, what can you say? You can also say that metaphor means a comparison in which one thing is said to be another. So one thing is said to be another thing. For example, see, she is a walking dictionary. So this is also a comparison. Okay, But in this, she is said to be a walking dictionary. Just like he was an encyclopedia, she is a walking dictionary. So can a dictionary walk? No. But she can walk. That is why she is being compared to a walking dictionary. She is said to be a walking dictionary. There are no words like as or like which have been used here. Okay, so this is the meaning of metaphor. Alright. So see, this is she, a girl, and this girl is being compared to a walking dictionary. There are some more examples here. See, Franklin has a heart of gold. So Franklin's heart is said to be made up of gold. So these are two different things, two unlike things. A person's heart and gold. But then it is saying, they're saying that Franklin's heart is gold. Okay. Mary's voice is music to my ears. So Mary's voice is compared to music. He is a shining star. So he is compared to a star or a shining star, you can say. You are my sunshine. So I'm saying that you are my sunshine. So I'm calling you my sunshine. The world's a stage. So these are all different examples of metaphor. You will see that in none of these cases we have used the word like or the word as. Okay, words like is, words like has, and words like are, was are being used over here. Now they've asked us to find out 3 metaphors from our poem today. What are the 3 metaphors? Let us check. So what is the past like to thee? An autumn evening soft and mild with a wind that sighs mournfully. So this is the line. So here the past is being compared with the season autumn. So this is the first metaphor which has been used in the poem. Second one, tell me what is the present hour? A green and flowery spray. So the present hour here is called as a green and flowery spray. So this is the second example of metaphor here. And what is the future happy one? A sea beneath the cloudless sun. So the future is being referred to the sea. Okay children, so these are the 3 instances where metaphor as a figure of speech is used in this particular poem. So what have we done today? We have read the poem properly, that is the past, present, future by Emily Bronte. We have learned a little bit of information about Emily Bronte, the poetess, and then we talked about the poem and we talked about the meanings or the difficult words or the comparisons which have been made in the poem. We tried to solve a few examples or a few exercises which are there in the textbook, and we also looked at these 2 figures of speech, that is simile and metaphor.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video, and did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.